What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing? Happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday, June the 4th, 2024, 1:23 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. My name is Dave Mcrae, coming to you live from the Voiceman Studios in Toronto, Canada, and this is episode 263 of Mcrae Live. Alien Romulus trailer has officially dropped, the official trailer. There was the teaser trailer a little while ago, which was really good. And now we have our first look at the movie by the way of an official trailer directed by Fede Alvarez, a director of Don't Breathe and the 2013 Evil Dead film, I believe. And we're going to talk about this trailer today because this is a good one. This is a good one, folks. This is a good, not just a good, this is a great trailer. This is a great trailer. Let's jump right into it. Now, this is a movie, Alien Romulus. The Alien franchise has been, there's been some good, there's been some, you know what I'm saying? This looks like a return to form. This really looks like a return to form, and very much in the vein of that original 1979 Alien, which of course is it's a science fiction film, of course, but it's also, it's really a science fiction horror film. I mean, it really is a horror, much more horror than, say, the sequel in '86, directed by James Cameron, Aliens, plural. Although that's a terrific film as well. Maybe two slightly different subgenres, but still one of the greatest sequels of all time. And but this movie, Alien Romulus, takes place between Alien and Aliens. And so going back to that feel and that vibe of those earlier films, I really think is the way to go. And the trailer, as far as Alien trailers go, I mean, this looks like it fits right in that time period. Now, obviously, the production value and everything is very modern, but it looks like it fits in within that time period in terms of the feeling, the vibe. I love the fact that they ended the trailer with, in space, beat, 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 no one can hear you, beat, beat, beat. You know what I mean? And then instead of having Scream come up on the screen, they just let the visuals fill that in. And I thought it was cut together really well. And that's the job of a trailer, right? Is to really get you excited for the film that you're about to see. Now, this in and of itself doesn't mean that it's going to be a spectacular movie. Who knows? It could be a catastrophic failure of epic proportions. We don't know. We've seen many great trailers to bad movies, bad trailers to great movies. I mean, who knows? But in terms of marketing, this was a spectacular trailer. Terrific mood, terrific atmosphere. Just that claustrophobic dystopian vibe of that original film as well. I mean, you really get a sense from this film, very, very much like the original, but you get a sense watching this that this small little crew is in way over their heads. And I don't know how it's going to end and what's going to happen and whether or not they want to leave it open for a sequel that also takes place in between Alien and Aliens. I don't know what is, I mean, look, if Alien Romulus is a gigantic success, a box office success, you can bet your ass that they're probably going to want to do a sequel, to this. And maybe they will. I mean, maybe there is room, depending on how good this movie is, maybe there is room to have almost a trilogy in between Alien and Aliens. Do you know what I mean? So you kind of go from Alien to Alien Romulus and then, its little sort of, maybe few films, and then you jump to Aliens. I don't know. I don't know. Again, I don't know. It all depends on how well it does at the box office, of course, and whether or not it's set up for that. And I'm sure, at least I would like to believe, I'm sure that there will be connective tissue between Alien and Aliens somewhere in there. Certainly the original film, Aliens, because that movie, those events have already happened. by the time you are watching the events of Alien Romulus. So I'm sure that it will be connected in some manner, some way. But this is a terrific trailer. And I really love the claustrophobic nature of it, the dystopian, all hope is lost nature of it, of this small crew that is no doubt in way over their heads, that they're going to have to band together, figure shit out, figure it all out. I think it's really good, and it paints that picture perfectly. It makes me feel very much like I am watching an extension of that original film from 1979. When you go back and watch that trailer, which is a classic trailer, I don't even think there's any dialogue in that trailer. One of the first Alien trailers, and that's really good, and really gives you that vibe. And you get that again here. It's got that modern polish to it, right? It's got that modern sheen to it, but you do get that here. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought this is one of the best trailers I've seen all year, as it coincides with its subgenre, with its franchise. And, it's funny, because I watched the trailer twice, and when I was done watching it, I sat back and I thought to myself, and with what I'm about to say here, I understand why it's not like this, of course. But it is such a shame in a lot of ways because, you look at a trailer like this, and if this movie is even 75% as good as the trailers make it seem, that we're in for a real treat. But it's unfortunate at the same time, because if this movie is so successful, not even so successful, I don't mean like $1 billion or anything, but if it is considered a terrific success, they're going to want to do another one. They're going to go do another one. You know what I mean? And how many great sequels are there in terms of longevity sequels, we'll call them, right? You can point to immediate sequels that are really good, like the second film, like Psycho 2, Jaws 2, Empire Strikes Back. I mean, you can Godfather 2, you can point to Superman 2, you can point to sequels that, like the immediate one, the one right after the original, you can point to some of those. That's pretty good. It's not good. The original is pretty good. Aliens, of course, right? But I always get worried when something like this happens. I wish we lived in a world, and I understand that we don't, it's show business, right? But I wish we lived in a world where we could deliver a fantastic movie that no doubt you could do a sequel to if you wanted to, but that we just didn't. Do you know what I mean? That we just didn't. We just let it be. It's great on its own. It's amazing. It's a great story on its own. And because no matter what genre you're working in, it is inevitable that you will eventually hit those beats if the franchise goes on long enough where, and there it is, we've jumped the shark or something's happened, right? And not that it necessarily takes away from the original. And I do understand that there are certain fans and moviegoers in this world that, again, don't care about those things and they just want more and more and more. And it's nice to revisit the characters and the nostalgia and all that kind of stuff. I understand that. But looking at this trailer, there's part of me that kind of thinks, because we've had so many misses in the Alien franchise over the years, which is not a surprise, by the way. Like, moviegoers have to understand that, when you have bad sequel, that's the norm. That's the expected. No filmmaker goes out with the intention to make a bad sequel, but there's a variety of reasons why sequels, once you get to part 4 and 5 and 6, you know what I'm saying? There's reasons why they don't hit the same ways, right? The novelty is worn off. Its fan base has grown out of it. That can happen too. It's just not the same anymore, right? And depending on the story, and some stories are not meant to be dragged through the fucking mud indefinitely. I'm sorry, but it's true. Sometimes it's nice to have a one and done or a nice tight trilogy and just fucking leave it. You know what I'm saying? But money. Hey, they're going to continue to, so I get it. But looking at this trailer, I was like, oh, if this is if this is a really good film and I walk away from it going, oh, this is the best Alien movie we've had since Aliens, let's say, maybe it might be can you imagine if we're like, this is better than Aliens? Now, Aliens and Alien, again, are a bit different, right? They sort of reside in slightly different subgenres, but both terrific films. And Aliens is considered one of the great sequels in the history of cinema. But could you imagine if we all walked out of the theater? I'm going to the extreme here. Imagine if we all walked out of the theater and we thought, wow, this is better than Aliens. We're not quite ready to say it's better than Alien, but can you imagine if there's a lot of buzz, the reviews begin to come out, it hits like 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. Could you imagine? Holy fuck. And the buzz on the street, the early buzz on the street is like, this is really good. Like, really good. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, people are like, not to take anything, from Aliens. I mean, Aliens is amazing, but this is like the best since 79. Could you imagine? Just put yourself in that headspace for a moment, because that's where I like to go sometimes. Not that this trailer necessarily made me believe that was an inevitability. The trailer, I mean, look, it's a great trailer. It looks like it could be a great movie, but it could go either way, right? Really at the end of the day, we know this. But like I said, if the movie is as good as the trailer makes it seem, and we walk out going, that was fucking amazing, and it makes boatloads of money, depending on how it ends, depending on what the story is and whether it's been set up to continue or, whatever the case is, there's always that part of me that's like, no, just leave it. Just leave it. And I know that for a lot of my viewers, that's not fun. Dave, that's not fun. Yeah, I get it. But I would much rather have one great fucking movie than one great movie and 573 disastrous sequels. Halloween, you know what I'm saying? So, not that they're the same subgenre, they're not, but the principles are the same. And so, I know it's fun to revisit characters. I know it's fun to revisit those worlds. And I think if there is a world from the get-go that is, rich in content and lore and world building and all that kind of stuff, I'm all there for it. Like, I loved, obviously, I'm not afraid to say it, I'm an unabashed fan of the original Avatar. Like there was, but James Cameron's Avatar, love it. One of my favorite films of all time. And I quite enjoyed the sequel, but it's James Cameron. I mean, he knows he's got a world build here, right? But so if there is something more to tell beyond Alien Romulus, if there's more to tell, not you're just, the movie was a success, now let's make shit up because the movie was a success. No. Like, you are like, okay, we're going to make this movie, but there's rich, deep fucking shit we can do that could give Alien Romulus its own sequel and tell like a trilogy of films, like 3 films in between Alien and Alien. Like, if there's something rich and deep and it is like bursting at the seams with story and character and, all this kind of stuff, then okay, let's see. And you just introduce this movie to kind of see, okay. But if this is a one and done story, and by the end of the movie, we're like, yeah, that was really good. But I don't feel like I need to, you know what I mean? Please just leave it. Just leave it, because you're going to find yourself right back where you are. You know what I mean? You're going to deliver something that's going to be like, no, we got another Alien 3. And I know each movie has its fans, but, I'm speaking the general consensus, and that was David Fincher too. He directed that movie. But the general consensus is that Alien 3 is one of the weaker films in the franchise, even though it does have its fans, and a bald Sigourney Weaver. She was bald in that one, right? Yeah, I think so. Was it that one? I can't remember. Anyway, that's the one with Winona Ryder, right? I think. Or was that Alien? No. That was the next one, I think. Anyway, fuck, I can't remember. But hey, this trailer was smashing awesome. This was just, a great trailer. It was really well cut together. Love the lighting. Again, that dystopian vibe, that all hope is lost vibe. And less is always more, in my opinion, but it's relative to its genre, right? I mean, you can't I understand why they did show some of the things they showed in this trailer. It's an Alien movie. I totally get it. But I do like I don't want to say it's a slower burn of Alien, but just character. That first Alien film has got terrific characters, terrific character development. I don't necessarily get the same vibe by watching this film that I do on the character side in terms of character development, allowing the film to breathe, allowing the film to let us sit with the characters for a moment. Like, we don't need to see the fucking alien in the first 3 minutes of the movie. Let us sit with the characters. Let us find out who they are, the dynamics between them, the relationship between them. What's their stories, right? What's their mission? Why are they there? What are they scared of? What are they worried about? Allow us to sit with them for a bit. Right? Because that was one of the things that I appreciated about the original Alien and films like it. They were rich with characters and very well-defined characters. So I don't feel like I'm watching four of the same kind of characters. Do you know what I mean? They're very distinctly defined, distinctly their own different type of character. And I hope that I think there's potential for that based on this trailer. But I wouldn't necessarily say I fully believe that we are going to get that. It might be a little more 2.5 dimensional rather than 3 dimensional. I'm not sure. I really have no idea. But the overall vibe of the trailer in terms of the tone feels very much like that original movie. And I hope that this is a movie and the thing is, you can deliver a film that is very much in that vibe because it's supposed to take place between Alien and Aliens. So that's what we want. We want something that feels, it's very much like what Terminator fans have been saying for years. Not that I actually kind of liked, I didn't love it, but I actually quite enjoyed Terminator Dark Fate for what it was. But at the end of the day, I think one of the Terminators really, let me back that up. I agree with those that say that maybe it's time, if you want to continue the Terminator franchise or remake it, reboot it. Like, I'm okay with remaking it. I got to tell you, I'm actually okay with remaking Star Wars as well. I am. If you want to, they're never going to do that. But, maybe when George Lucas dies, I don't know. But not that he has any say right now, but I'm just saying. But I'm okay. Like, if you want to, start over again with, I would be okay with that. But anyway, fuck, I lost my train of thought. But it's one of those things where this does really feel like it lives in that world, and it's okay to do that because it is between those two films. And so to deliver a film that feels very much in tone with that original, that's what I was going to say. Yeah. I am very much okay with going back and doing that. Fuck, I forgot what I was going to say. There was something I was going to say now, and I forget. That's what happens when you're working on the fly and you're getting old. But I am like, the tone of the trailer was fantastic. The tone was great. It's just the overall vibe and the tone of the trailer made it very much feel like that original film. And that's what you want. It's okay to go back and do that because you are in this time period. You are in that space. Oh, that's what I was talking about. Terminator. Right. So I agree with those that say that that's kind of what Terminator should be. It's okay. Don't worry about going on with Terminator now. Terminator's story ended for a lot of people with Terminator 2 Judgment Day, right? Now, I actually didn't mind Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. I think it's actually a better sequel than people give it credit for. But certainly, when you get into Salvation and Genesis and go back and just make it a low-budget horror film. Terminator 2, I believe, was the first movie to ever have a $100 million budget. And as much as that's great, and they were able to do amazing things with it, it was a catch-22 in a lot of ways. It kind of was ironically not a good thing for it either, because it took it from a low budget indie horror movie into the world of the big blockbusters. And so it probably didn't do it did itself a disservice in some ways. But I think Alien is kind of like that. Alien doesn't need to be this gigantic, big, multi-billion-dollar blockbuster. I mean, keep it low budget. Again, low budget, right? 50 mil, 100 mil. keep it within there and deliver something that's scary and frightening and about character and their relationships and humanity and make it philosophical, make us ask questions about humanity and what's out there and what is our place in the universe and do we kill these things or is it personal or are they just defending themselves? And there's a lot of philosophical things, which the original Alien had, by the way. But I just mean that there's a lot of these things that I hope we get back to. Not that Prometheus didn't have that, and not that Alien Covenant did. I mean, there's always been those angles to it, but I really feel like to lean into that, is where it needs to be. I think in a lot of cases, that can get lost of the heart of what these films can be and still be very scary. Very scary. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this trailer for sure. It ticked all the boxes for me. One of the best trailers of the year in terms of, what you would expect with its subgenre and with its franchise and going back to the roots and going back to that sort of that vibe, that claustrophobic dystopian, all hope is lost, small crew. What are they going to do? They're vulnerable up there. They're alone. They're isolated. They are out of their wheelhouse. The alien life, the creatures, that's their world. That's their world, right? So I really feel that by watching this. So I thought it was great. I thought it was great. Let's jump over to the chat room and see what you guys are saying about Alien Romulus. Get those Alien Romulus questions in, folks. Let's talk some Alien Romulus today. Let's talk about it. Butter, hang on. A member chat came in from Flat. It says, "Hey Dave, definitely a great trailer. Cannot wait and awesome to be a member for 4 months." Absolutely, Flat. Thank you for being a member for 4 months, and I could not agree with you more. Super chat comes in from Butter Cookie, sends in $5. Says, "Publishers are encouraging authors to write stories that will have sequels to their books. Think Harry Potter. It's become a culture of franchises." Of course it has. It's been a culture of franchises for a few decades. So that's nothing new. It's nothing new. And again, I understand it. I understand how the business works. But the artist in me, it's a hill I will always die on. It's not that I don't appreciate a sequel. It's not that I myself wouldn't, if I was given a franchise or if I created an IP and maybe I wanted to, to tell a story over, multiple films, that I wouldn't do it, of course. But this culture sequel for the, sake of making sequels is something that I've never liked. I will say right now, I could not care less if they ever made a Michael Myers Halloween movie ever again in the history of time. I couldn't care less. And that doesn't mean that that's me saying I hate Michael Myers. No, that's me saying I'm good. I'm content. You've given me the good movies. You've given me the bad movies. You've given me the ugly movies. You've given me masks and conventions and t-shirts and hats and hoodies and movies and comics and I'm good. I don't need more. Now, does that mean I won't be there opening day? Well, of course not. Of course I'll be there opening day. Does that mean they couldn't extend it and deliver a TV series or another new, iteration of films that I wouldn't absolutely love and enjoy? Of course not. There's always that chance. But right now, at face value, I don't care if they ever make another one because I'm content with what we have and I think it's great. But there are fans out there that want more, and that's okay. That's totally okay. But I will always look at this kind of stuff through a bit of a different lens than the average fan, I think, just because, I'm a filmmaker as well, right? And having worked in the industry a long time and meeting all sorts of kinds of people and different conversations and sort of, if you're a filmmaker, you have a bit of a different mindset and a bit of, you look through things through a bit of a different lens, no pun intended. And depending on where you are in your journey as a filmmaker and how seriously you take it, of course, if you're just a hobbyist, maybe not, but if you're serious about it, and especially if you work in the business, you understand a lot of things that the average person may not, and maybe where your allegiance lies and what you're passionate about and things like that can vary. And not that you have to be a filmmaker to feel that way at all. I'm not saying that. But there's different fans, right? Different strokes for different folks. And so, that's why, if Alien Romulus is really good, I just hope that I mean, if it's really great, but it doesn't make any money, then they probably won't do a sequel. If it's really great and it makes money, they'll likely do a sequel. If it's and it makes a lot of money, they'll probably do a sequel. It really is about how much it makes. But I will always die on the hill of, hey, you can make a great movie, you can make a great sequel for sure, and maybe if you have a story that you want to tell over 2 or 3 films, I'm totally cool with that. But I've never been a fan of franchises that go on and on and on and on. You know what? I've never been a fan of that. Because the proof is in the pudding. It is inevitable. And although Scream has been able to dodge it, well, depending on who you ask, there are a lot of people that hate Scream 6 and, 3 and whatever. But the Scream franchise as a whole, generally speaking, has yet to have their Freddy's Dead, has yet to have their Jason Goes to Hell, has yet to have their Halloween Resurrection, has yet to have a gigantic stinker. But make no mistake, Scream fans, make no mistake. If Scream continues to go on and on and on and on and on, it will happen. Remember me saying this. It will happen, right? It's inevitable. It will. It may not be Scream 7. It may not be Scream 8. But it will happen if it continues to go on and on and on and on and on. There will be that one, and maybe for some of you fans, it's already happened. But there will be that one where you go, and there it is. You know what I mean? That was just awful. My God, what were they thinking, right? Scream may have been able to get away with it a bit longer because of the kind of sort of franchise it is. It's a whodunit. Although the Scream franchise follows a through line, a canonical through line through all 6 movies. Each movie is a complete separate story all on its own. And so that because it's designed that way, that could help it a little bit. I'm not entirely sure, but there are reasons why maybe it's lasted a little bit longer than, say, Freddy, Michael, and Jason in terms of not actually hitting a gigantic stinker yet. But yeah, I've never been a fan of that. I've always been, one great movie, you want to follow it up, I totally get it, but I'm story first, and I'm okay with things ending. Like I'm okay. Sometimes it's okay when things end. It's okay. But I also do understand the other side of it too, that people just, hey man, I've had people reach out to me and literally say to me, I don't care if the movies are good. Like, I don't care. They could be shitty films. I just want Ghostface. I just want Michael Myers. It's true. I've had people say that to me, and I'm like, hey, that's not how I feel, but all power to you, man. All power to you. Super chat from Josh McKenna, a generous super chat of $20. Thanks, Josh. Says, what do you consider to be the most important line in It's Me, Billy? I always thought you're not like her. You're not like her. You're strong like your grandmother to be very important, but is there another line that is meant to be most important? I don't know. That's a good question. That is an incredibly important line. And it will have significance, obviously, in It's Me, Billy Chapter 2. It's really important. Because it's basically foreshadowing. And I don't want to give any spoilers away, but it will make a lot of sense when you watch It's Me, Billy Chapter 2. Oh, I get why they set it up that way. But if we had never made a Chapter 2, like It's Me, Billy was not a success in terms of, how well it's done and people didn't want to see it finish, then it could have just lived on its own as well, because it does make sense within that film as well. But other lines from that movie, there's quite a few lines in It's Me, Billy Chapter 2 I quite like, but I can't say them because it would be spoilers. But I haven't watched the movie in a little bit. I have to go back and watch it again. There's some good ones though. There's some good ones, but that's a real important one for sure. Yep, you're right, Josh. That's important, and as I said, it will come to have more significance in Chapter 2. All right, have I got all the super chats? I just want to make sure. Andrew Stevens just gifted 5 memberships. Amazing. Shout out to, one of our great moderators here, Andrew Stevens, giving gifting 5 memberships, 1 membership to Shamrock Balls, another one to Richie Rich, another one to Irish Michael Myers 77, Descartes Guru _86, and to Sean Harris. Congratulations to the 5 of you. You are now Mcrae members here, which means the next time I do a stream, your names will appear on the member card, and depending on which tier he gifted to you, you will have access to certain stuff. So, yeah, very, very cool. Very awesome indeed. Thank you, Andrew. I really appreciate you you doing that. That means a lot. That means a lot. So what did you guys think of it? Like, in the chat room, all you guys in the chat, I see people talking about Scream now. What did you guys think of the Alien Romulus trailer? Are you fans of the Alien franchise? Are you not fans of the Alien franchise? Could you not care less about Alien? Have you maybe never seen Alien before in your life? That's possible. And that's totally okay. Right? There's lots of movies that people have seen that I haven't seen that would make you go, what? Got to think of some here off the top of my head, but there's a few out there for sure. Let me know. I'd like to know what you guys think of the Alien Romulus trailer. I dug it. I thought it was fucking fantastic. I thought it was great. So I would like to know what you guys think of it. Geeked Out Turtle Fan says, so if this film is good, would the sequel be set between Aliens and Alien 3? Not necessarily, right? I mean, you know, you could set, depending on how if Fede Alvarez comes back, depending on how he wants to structure a sequel, you could still set it between Alien and Aliens. Like, you could have an entire, again, depending on how it's structured, you could have an entire trilogy between Alien and Aliens. Right? Depending on, like, how many years after Alien is Aliens? Do we know? Don't take a guess. Like, really, let me know if you know. Let me know if you know. How many years after Alien is Aliens? Now, in real life, it's what? 7 years? 10, 9, 8, 7. Yeah, I think it's 7 years in real life, 79 to 86. But how many years is it in the actual franchise? Is it like immediately after? I can't remember. Is it 5 years after? Shamrock Ball says 57. Well, it's 57 years later? That wouldn't make much sense. Granted, I haven't seen the movie in a while, but I don't think it's 57. Sigourney Weaver looks great for somebody who's 57 years older. Unless there's is there time? It's around 60. Oh, okay. So is there time dilation involved then? Or what? How is that working? How's that? 80-ish. Okay, so we've got 80-ish, we've got 60, we've got 57. Is it real? Yeah, it's 57 years. 57 years. Okay. Granted, I haven't seen the movie in a long time. So that would... Okay. Oh, that's right. Now I'm remembering because of the okay, yeah. I get it now. I get it. Right. It's been a while. Yeah, she was in isolation. Cryo. That's right. I just remembered that. It's been a minute since I've seen Aliens. I said it before you said it, though. That's right. I forgot about the cryo sleep. That's right. It's been a minute, guys. It's been a minute. Or as I like to say, a microsecond. It's been a microsecond since I've seen Aliens. 80 years. Okay, so now we've got TSL. We've got Darren saying that it's 80 years. We've got 57 years. We've got 60 years. We've got 80-ish years. You know what? Let's say it's between 50 and 100 years. All right, so there you have it. Okay. 80 years. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, 80 years. You could make an entire saga between Alien and Aliens of 50 movies if you wanted to. If you could figure out how to... Now, the real trick will be a New York Minute. That's right. The real trick will be... well, hey, Barry, Wolfman's Got Nards is here. Let's go with a lot of years. There you go. Let's go with a lot of years. The thing is with this is that... and then Harsh Language Podcast says it's 57 exactly. So there you go. I see. There you have it. It's a long time. Okay, so here's the thing. Let's say Alien Romulus is a gigantic success. It's a great film. Again, it doesn't have to be a perfect movie, but it's really good. It's rocking, even 75% on Rotten Tomatoes is great, right? If Alien Romulus can get like 75, 80%, that's really good. We live in a world now where like anything below, 80 is like, oh, it's fucking shit. No, listen, if I made a studio film, if I had a movie right now that was, again, not a not-for-profit indie film, something I could release to the public and make money on and actually, have it out there, and something that would be reviewed by Rotten Tomatoes critics, because obviously the Billy films are tribute films, and therefore not for profit, and therefore, not something that would wind up there. However, if I was in a position, which the next film after Billy Chapter 2, we are then turning our sights to original films. So it will be the next one for sure. But if I had made a film that ended up with 65% on Rotten Tomatoes, I'd be a pretty happy camper. Now, depending on what it was and depending on what my own personal expectations may have been, there may be a little bit of disappointment there perhaps. But guys, any movie that's especially in the horror genre, if you could make a horror movie that's rocking above 65 and you're hitting into the 70s, you're doing pretty good. You're doing pretty good. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a Star Wars movie's rocking 65, maybe not that great. But if you're delivering like a horror movie that's rocking anything 65 and up, I think it's probably pretty good. That's probably pretty good. Anyway, I digress. But let's say it's really good, right? And it's a great film. Well, there's no doubt, and it does really well at the box office. Okay? How much did Alien Romulus cost? Do we know Alien Romulus's budget yet? Do we know Alien Romulus's budget? Let's see here. Let me just go over to Wikipedia. Sometimes they show the budget. Well, they don't show it here yet. I'll probably show it after it's released. I'm not sure how much the budget is. It's 20th Century Studios. Okay, that's their 20th Century Studios. Oh, yeah, 20th Century Studios. Sorry, I was thinking of Searchlight. I was about to say, it's their independent division. It's not. Yeah, say it's really great. And I mean, he may have a through line. And he may be like, well, I have an idea for 2 more films, and we can still set it between Alien and Aliens. And so, like I said, I don't think a sequel to Alien Romulus has to happen after Alien. I don't think it does. I really don't. Like, unless there's something I'm missing, I don't necessarily think, I don't think you do. I think there is a potentiality for a really terrific story, maybe over 2 or 3 films to be told within that space, within that 57 years. And it could be, if Eddie Alvarez has got it, again, you've got to have a through line. You've got to have something that makes sense. You can't just, not that somebody hasn't made shit up on the fly and it's been, amazing, but if you can have something that's, you know what I mean, that maybe there is more to tell, might be interesting. It might be interesting. I don't know. Josh sends in 999, follows up and says, did you watch Godzilla -1 in color or black and white? I thought there was also a version in black and white, Godzilla -1 in color. No, I watched it in color, the one that was on Netflix. There is a version in black and white, but I don't think it's been released to streaming yet. They released it as sort of a special edition kind of thing into theaters for a short period of time. But I did not watch it in black and white. I bet you it's pretty cool in black and white, though. TSL Movie Podcast is taking off. Got to get off the train. See you later. Take care, Darren. Great to have you here for a little bit. Troy Stasha says, if it's a big hit, then hopefully the studio will greenlight a movie to wrap up the prequel storyline. Prometheus and Covenant were both great. I don't think they would do that. I think it would be very strange for Alien Romulus to be a gigantic hit and for them to then get away from Romulus to wrap up the Prometheus and Covenant storyline, because now you're taking away from what was the big hit. Right? And although you love those movies, Prometheus and Alien Covenant, and there are fans that do, generally speaking, those movies have struggled. And so in terms of, that's why there hasn't been a sequel to either of those. That's why they haven't gone on to, finish, so to speak, if you want to look at it that way. And so no, I think if Alien Romulus is a gigantic success, they will do a sequel to Alien Romulus. That's what they're going to do. That's where the business is. That's where it makes sense to do that. And so that doesn't mean that you won't ever get it, but no, I'd imagine, again, maybe there's a through line that connects everything, right? And maybe we'll see that. But no, I think it would definitely be a sequel to Alien Romulus. Okay, have I got all the super chats, ladies and gentlemen? I want to make sure that I have. Again, shout out to Andrew Stevens for gifting 5 memberships. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'd love to get our membership. I think we're rocking 105 members or something like that. I'd love to get to 150 members. That would be amazing. For those of you that may not know, folks, I do have a membership only here on the channel. That's why that join button is there. There's 2 tiers, level number 1 and 2. For level number 1, obviously, or for both tiers, you get your name highlighted in the chat, as you can see, and different emojis depending on how many months you have joined. You get member only chat. So it's like a super chat, but it's a member only chat. So it's highlighted in the chat green. No matter which tier you are, you get access to that. You get your name on the member card at the beginning of every show and stream that I do. And you also get access to member-only Q&As as well. And then tier number 2, you get access to all of that, as well as member first images, I believe. Sometimes I'll release an image or something, or member-only polls and all that kind of stuff. And you get access to member-only shows like the Halloween-only show, One Good Scare, and the level number 2 watch-along show called Horror Movie Nights, where we watch a movie together. We had one this past Sunday night where we watched the 1985 classic House with William Catt and George Wendt and Richard Mole, which was great. We've watched Friday the 13th Part 4. We've watched the Evil Dead movie from last year. We've watched Slumber Party Massacre. We've watched The Blob. Yeah, and our next horror movie night will come up probably towards the end of this month, beginning of next month. It's a lot of fun. We try to do them once a month, but it's a lot of fun. So, and it helps sports. It helps sports the channel. So, if you want to get in on that, feel free to hit that join button. I'd really appreciate it. Let me see here. Let me see. Harsh Language Podcast says the studio seems pretty invested in the franchise, given the Noah Hawley Alien series coming as well. Howley, excuse me, which is a prequel to the original. I was unaware of that. I was unaware that there was a prequel series coming. Yeah, well, I mean, because they likely see the potential of it, right? There is a lot of potential in the Alien franchise. It is a proven IP. But like I've said, and like I said earlier in the show, in a lot of cases, sometimes, these things are they're not meant to have gigantic shelf lives. Like what usually ends up happening, this happened with Halloween. It happens with a lot of horror movies. And I think for the most part, it's kind of happened with Alien. But it does happen with a lot of franchises, is that you will get a great first, and happened with Jaws. Although Jaws was a huge phenom, but you get a really great film. And its inception, like the actual film, when you look at the original film of whatever gigantic franchise it's become, there's many examples of that original movie being a smaller film, indie, even if it's not an indie film, feels indie. And again, indie, for those of you that may not know, because I do see a lot of people getting this misaligned, independent films do not mean amateur movies. An independent film is any movie that is released outside of the studio system, or is first, plays the festivals and things, and then it gets picked up by maybe a big distributor like Paramount or something. But, if you're an indie filmmaker, that doesn't necessarily mean you're an amateur filmmaker. There are amateur filmmakers out there, of course, aspiring amateurs, but independent George Lucas was an indie filmmaker, right? American Graffiti was an indie film. There's lots of indie film. Halloween was an independent film. So independent film just means a film that is produced outside of the studio system. And so a lot of franchises that are now part of the studio system, of course, that are delivering blockbusters, there are many examples of when you look at that first installment of said franchise, there's an independent vibe to it. Sometimes they are independent films, sometimes they're not. But like that first Terminator movie, do you know what I mean? And so there are a lot of examples, Halloween being one, where they try... One of the greatest, from an artistic perspective, from a storytelling perspective, from a, being the filmmaking connoisseur and being all about the art and the story and the characters film, one of the best things and one of the worst things to happen to your little low budget indie film is for it to be a gigantic success. It's a double-edged sword. It's huge because, oh my God, this is great. And it helps the filmmakers and it helps the actors and you make money and it helps you in your career and it shows that you're competent and you can maybe deliver something to an audience and it's wonderful. But at the same time, and depending if you wrote it and produced it and you are the creator, you're not just the director, you can be like John Carpenter and get paid every time to make a movie. But it's a double-edged sword because for the franchise as a whole, then what usually ends up happening is, oh, this first one was so big, now let's make all these others. And then when really it was never designed to be that way, it was never designed to have 50 movies attached to it. It was never designed to go on for, 10 movies. But they do that because the first one was so big, we got to rush out a sequel and get it. And that was pretty good because the first one was really good and the sequel did pretty well. And we got to get, and then by the time you get to part, 11, it's like a shell of what it was and what it was kind of supposed to be. And that doesn't mean you can't deliver good sequels, but I've often found that in a lot of ways. Not with every franchise and not with, I'm not saying everything, but there are examples of that happening. And Alien, although Aliens was great and there's things about Prometheus and Covenant, I mean, it's not a disaster. It's not a disastrous franchise, but that first Alien in 1979 was so good and so indie feeling. Do you know what I mean? And so like it didn't feel like it needed this to become this big gigantic franchise. And a lot of the times part of the reason why franchises will struggle is because they are always living in the shadow of the inception of what it was always supposed to be. And so they make these big blockbusters like Terminator, for example, right? Never could, it's not that Fate is a terrible movie or that, Genesis is this god-awful film. It's that they're always living in the shadow of really what Terminator was. Do you know what I mean? And it's very difficult for franchises to become something they were never supposed to be in the first place. And I think Terminator, unless you have James Cameron behind there, of course, but I don't think it was ever meant to be this gigantic Star Wars level blockbuster, which is, I think, part of the reason why they've struggled to just figure it out. And Alien sort of has met that a little bit. Again, there's, it's not exactly the same, but they feel that there's, no, we're going to get a prequel series and we're going to do this. But I'll tell you right now, it wouldn't surprise me if the prequel series comes and goes. It wouldn't surprise me if Romulus comes and goes either. It wouldn't surprise. Now, it looks like it's setting up to be exactly what it needs to be, going back to the roots, exactly what we want from an Alien film. But it wouldn't surprise me if by the end we're like, do you know what I mean? Because sometimes things run their course, but if this is really good, and it really does, and it almost feels like, wow, they've breathed new life into this franchise, then be careful. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't turn the Alien Romulus sequel into a gigantic blockbuster now. Try to keep it small, If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? But yeah, no, it can be tricky sometimes. It can be tricky. It can be really, really tricky. Blair Hathaway says, I went to KFC and told him I was a friend of Dave's. Guess what? Free side of mashed potatoes. Friend of mine, or is that something you're supposed to say when you go into KFC? Do they know me there? I don't know. I haven't had Kentucky Fried Chicken in years. Although I do love Kentucky. Who doesn't love Kentucky Fried Chicken? My God. I don't know. Now, Zoe here says, Alien franchise can go on forever and ever. There is so much great lore in comics and the books, and so I hope it goes on forever. Well, it can, but they've had trouble doing that, right? And there's reasons for that, is what I'm saying. You can have Michael Myers go on and on and on and on, right? But you have to create things and reasons for it to go on and on. And all I'm saying is that sometimes the best stories are told within one film or within a couple of films, right? It's not that things can't go on, and maybe you're the kind of fan that, and I'm not saying you are, I don't know you, but there are fans out there that always hope the movies are good, but at the end of the day, couldn't care less whether they're great or not, just as long as I get to, as a fan, I get to continue to revisit that world, live in that world. And you know what, even if the movies are not that great, I like them anyway. There's those kinds of fans. And that's nothing to be ashamed of, right? There's different strokes for different folks. But for me, on the other hand, I can be very picky. And sometimes, you know, when I watch certain films, I go, yeah, I'm good. Like this is, and then you watch the sequel and then you watch another sequel and you're like, we're like, it's not that the sequels are necessarily catastrophic dumpster fires. They're just unnecessary. Like I don't feel like the message, the moral, the themes, they've been told, and now we're just extending it. And yes, we are creating things and reasons to extend it, and the stories make sense. And of course, it's a big universe out there, right? With many different species and many different worlds. There's lots of things you can do. But, you know, like, I don't know. It just, for me, it eventually evolves into something that I don't think it was ever meant to be, really, and it kind of strays from what its inception was all about. For me, but that's me, right? But absolutely, you could go on and on and on, and you can go on and on and on with everything. I mean, look what happened to Michael Myers, right? You know, I mean, Thorn and you know, you could go on. There's people that love Halloween 4, 5, and 6 as a Thorn trilogy, even though I find it strange to call it the Thorn trilogy because 4 has nothing to do with Thorn. The tattoo, all that kind of stuff was not introduced until Halloween 5. So is it really a Thorn trilogy? Really? I don't know. It's interesting. Interesting stuff indeed. Fliximetry says, I was 12 in 79. My best friend and I bought tickets for the PG film, for a PG film. That's right, it would have been. And snuck in to see, a PG film and snuck in to see Alien. Oh, right, because Alien would have been rated R. Yes, for sure. Because there was no PG-13 then. That didn't happen until the mid-'80s. Older downtown Minneapolis, yeah. Theater, great memory. Sadly, Doug is no longer with us. He'd be psyched. I'm sorry to hear that, man. That's too bad. That's a shame, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's life, isn't it? But that's pretty cool. I was born in 79, so I did not get a chance to see Alien in theaters, but yeah, no, I mean, it holds up today, man. It's one of the great science fiction horror films ever made. Certainly put Ridley Scott on the map. Went on to do, of course, Blade Runner and all that, and of course Gladiator, which he's doing a sequel to years later. But yeah, and his brother Tony, of course, rest in peace, Tony Scott, who committed suicide in 2012. But yeah, like I've always. I don't know. Like I can tell, like, for example, right? For those of you that, there might be some of you that are watching that have no idea what I'm about to say or have no idea what I'm talking about with what I'm about to say. But one of the big projects in my life that I want to do once Billy is in the rearview mirror, of course, is an original piece of feature-length film. I've talked about it on the channel. tentatively at the moment, of course, called Port Robinson Road. And it's based on a true story from my second year of college, and it deals with paranormal and all that kind of stuff. But it's not a run-of-the-mill pedestrian paranormal haunted house movie. There's a lot. It's more mature than that. You could say maybe it's a little elevated because it deals with a lot of philosophical themes, and it's going to be scary as fuck, and it's going to be dripping with mood and atmosphere, and it's going to be frightening as hell. But it's more than just that. You know what I'm saying? And that's how, but for me, when I think about it, let's hypothetically say, like, in my mind right now, it's a one and done film. It's a one and done story. It's it. It's done. It's a one and done thing. Like there's no need to continue that on. But if it went on and made gangbusters at the box office, let's say it, cost me $15 million to make and it made $110 million or something. Well, I think we could extend. I'll be like, no, there is no more to tell. That's how I would be. You know what I mean? But Dave, we'll give you this much money to write it. We'll give you this much money to direct it. Just figure something out and extend it. And then I'd be like, oh God, okay. No, I wouldn't. I don't think I could do it. On principle, I don't think I could do it. I would just sit back and get paid. That's what I would do. Because I don't think my conscience wouldn't allow me to do it. Because I'd be like, well, this is now a a sequel? There's no sequel. There was no sequel. What are you talking about? Now, maybe that's a bit of a different thing because it's based on true events. But the principles are the same. I could totally, I could see. And again, I'm not adverse to sequels. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, you're doing a sequel to Billy. Yes, that's true, but technically it's just the last half of the movie. Although, yes, technically that's true. And of course, the whole thing is a sequel to Black Christmas. That is true. But people have asked me, are you going to do Billy 3? And I'm like, no. Fuck no. So does this have a definitive end? Yes. Yes, a definitive end. Yes. No, I'm one of those, it's done. It's done. It's done. That's how I feel. I feel so passionate. And again, I'm not adverse to sequels. I love sequels. Just some of my favorite movies are sequels. But for me, especially when it comes to horror, you got to have a really good reason to make a sequel, man. Otherwise you're just doing the same fucking movie over again. Maybe some people would like that, but it has to make sense. Bruce and I sat for, I would say months, but certainly at least a month, 6 weeks, figuring out how to crack the code to even it makes sense for us to do a sequel to Black Christmas, right? We took it very seriously, and so. Yeah, like I said, some of my favorite movies are sequels, but I think I'm not one of those fans that is just dying for things to be extended. Like I said, take this however you take it, and you guys know me, I'm a huge Halloween fan. It's my favorite horror movie of all time, one of my favorite movies of all time. I'm the Halloween guy. I came to prominence here in the space talking Halloween. I did all the Halloween coverage. I would be there front and center watching Michael Myers and Halloween again in the movie theater. I'd be first in line if they ever made another one. But I don't care if they ever do. And that's just because I'm full. Right? I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied as a Halloween fan. And maybe it's because I can't imagine how else you could continue it and make it fresh and new. I've seen it all now. I've seen it all. You know what I mean? And so, but I'm ready to be proven wrong. But yeah, different, but that's what makes fandom so fun, right? Is that you have different, like if we all thought the same way, we all felt the same way, God, it would be boring. It really would. I like it when we're different because then we can learn from each other. Be like, no, really? Oh, no, are you fuck serious? Are you serious? Oh, that's awesome. It's great. Roberto Torres sends in $4.99. Thank you, Roberto. Says, buddy, have you met Tyler Main? I have not. He's coming by my hometown in a couple of months. Probably one of the scariest Michaels to go up against. I would agree with that. No, I would agree with that. I mean, he's 6'8", got to be 230 pounds, something like that, if not more. He was a formidable a formidable foe. He was a presence for sure. Not, in the Halloween movies that I particularly enjoy, but certainly he was tremendous. And if you like that Jason-esque style of Michael Myers, he's the poster child for it. So he's great. But no, I haven't met him. The man who sold the world, maybe? Does that say world? Let me see here. The man who sold the world? Not sure. It's cut off. But you know who you are. Sends in $4.99. Thank you. Says, the longer a franchise goes, the more plot holes and problems it creates in what is a great lore. Yeah, well, certainly the more it goes along, the more, I mean, that's not necessarily an inevitability, but certainly it's a high probability. And that's part of it, right? And you know, again, it depends on the kind of fan that you are, right? But I always find that the longer a franchise goes on, the novelty wears off, the weird and unusual seeps. I mean, look, I remember, and you guys know this, I remember sitting on this channel. I was in the other room over there before I moved out here. I sat on this channel. I used to upload a lot more pre-recorded videos when I first began than I do now. And I used to talk all the time about shelf life. I even have a video on my channel about shelf life, Michael Myers. It's probably from like 6 or 7 years ago. And I remember saying that, and I said this, and if you follow me from any length of time, you know this. I used to say, mark my word, if this Halloween franchise goes on and on and on, and at that time we were on the cusp of Halloween 18 releasing, so we had no idea how long the franchise was, how long the new films were going to go. I said, mark my word, there will come a time where we're going to find us right back to where we are right now. And at that time it was 2017. And I had some fans push back a little bit, but then what happened? Halloween 18 was pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good. Halloween Kills. Okay. And then Halloween Ends. Ah! Now, I like Halloween Ends more than some, but certainly Halloween Ends is one of the most divisive in the space. There's people that like it. There's people that hate it. And that didn't take long, did it? Well, it only took 2 movies. Oh, 3, but you got a good one and then 2 extra ones. Oh, well, that didn't take long. And here we are again. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's inevitable, right? It's inevitable that like sometimes franchises have just run their course. And as I don't say that as a hater. I say that as a fan. And we fans, and I'm not saying you have to agree with me. You do you be you feel the way you feel. But we as fans should not be afraid to say, hey, I'm good. You know what? I'm okay. And not feel like we're, handing in our fan card or we're going against our fandom. No, it's because I am a fan. Right? That I feel good. I've got the good, the bad, the ugly. I'm okay. Like I don't see like they've exhausted. I mean, what can we do with Michael Myers? I mean, what are we going to do? We're just going to reboot it again? It's going to be Michael Myers. It's going to be another Michael Myers thing. It's going to be Halloween and he's going to be a 6-year-old child. He's going to kill Judith Myers, and Halloween there's going to be locked up. Are we just going to do that again? Say like, I'm good. Will I be there day one? Of course, I'm a Halloween fan. But yeah, I think we should feel, if you feel the way I do, and if you don't feel the way I do, that's totally cool. But if you are a fan that feels the way I do, then we should never be afraid to say, no, I'm good. No, I'm not being a hater. I'm just saying I'm good. Oh, so you don't want like a Halloween TV series? No, I'm good. Well, how come? Well, then you're not a fan. No, I am a fan. That's why I don't want one, because I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, but what if it's really good? Well, then great. If it's really good, then great. I'm just saying I couldn't care if they made one or not. That's all I'm saying. Right? You know what I'm saying? And that's okay to say. I think that's okay to say, because to your point, it's inevitable. It goes on and sometimes because they've exhausted it, sometimes that window of how many good Halloween movies or Freddy movies or Jason movies we can get is shortened. Right? Because they've exhausted it for so many years in the 80s and the 90s. So I will be very curious to see how Scream 7 does. Again, Scream is one of those franchises that seems to be doing all right, but it could be because of the sort of the dynamic of the franchise. But mark my word, it is a very low probability that Scream Part 19 will be any good. There's a low probability. I mean, I think we're running on fumes at the moment with the Scream franchise. We've been very lucky that there hasn't been a catastrophic failure yet. But even some Scream fans, even some diehard Scream fans I know, watched Scream 5 and 6 and went, it kind of feels like it's, like they're not bad movies or anything. Like they're Scream movies, but they feel, it's showing its age a little bit. There's some fans that, and I'm like, yeah, I can see that. I can see that, like we kind of, we're doing this again, but it's interesting. It's interesting. Okay, have I got all the super chats? I see the last two there. I just want to make sure, because sometimes when I'm yapping away, the thing will, move up, and I'll. We've got 6 new members. Awesome, amazing, 6 new members. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'd love to get to, by the end of the year, I think it would be really cool to be at 150 members. What am I at right now? Oh, you know what? The 6 new members may not be factored in. That you guys just did here. Might not be factored in. Let me just see here. Is my app factoring it in? No, it's not factoring in yet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So with the 6 new members today, I think that'll put us at about 108, which is really great, which is really cool. I would love, as I said, to get to 150 before the end of the year, which I think is possible. 150? We'll see. I don't know. And you can come and go too, guys. Like, it's not permanent, right? Like it can be a month-to-month thing. Like there's lots of members that will, become a member for a few months, and then maybe something happens in their life and they got to take a break, and then they come back. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like, you're locked in for 5 years, bitch. It's like, no, that'd be great. Could you imagine? Yeah. Let me see. Oh, here's one. The man who sold the something, $1.99. Thanks, buddy. All I want is a great Halloween video game. I'm right there with you, man. I am right there with you. Would love a great Halloween video game. That would be pretty cool. As I said, and I got a whole Mcrae live on my channel where I talk about the kind of Halloween video game I would love to see. I don't think I'm going to get it, but I want a GTA open world kind of Halloween video. The money they would have to spend on that, where you get to, you can travel all over Haddonfield, you can drive to Russellville, you can play as Loomis, you unlock the different versions of the Michael Myers characters, you can play as different. That's what I'm talking about. Like a massive multi-million-dollar. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But fuck, I would love it. I would love it. I would love it. Okay, let me see here. Aaron Click, Dave, totally off topic. Totally off topic. Have you seen the following films? Promising Young Woman? Yes. Last Night in Soho? Not yet. And Dr. Sleep? Not yet. If you haven't seen Dr. Sleep, when you do, a show is in order. Yeah, Dr. Sleep is one of those movies I just haven't gotten around to yet. I did see a Promising Young Woman. I thought that was great. Great little psychological thriller. And Night in Soho, I have not seen yet, but I think it's streaming on Netflix. Or is it Prime? One of the two. So I do have to watch that. I do have to watch that one. I haven't seen it yet. All right, hang on. Frank Riker, there he is. Fuck Scream. Fuck Scream. It's like Al Pacino. Hoo-ah. Great ass. Fuck Scream. Yeah, I don't think I missed any super chats, right? I don't believe so. No. Okay, we'll go a little bit longer, and then we'll wrap it up. Just wanted to jump on, have a a show where we talk about it. Fliximetry says, I remember all the commercials for Jaws. I do collect posters and press books. Have a few from Jaws, Jaws 2, lots of marketing for sure. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Jaws was, it's one of the greatest films of all time. And obviously I was not alive when it came out. It was released 4 years before I was born. But I can, thanks to YouTube, I can go back and watch a lot of those old trailers and commercials and all that kind of stuff. And it's got such a great trailer. And the voiceover for that trailer, oh God, he was Canadian. He did a lot of those old school trailers back in the 70s and the 80s. Was his name Percy? No. Percy? Hang on. Jaws trailer voiceover actor. I know this guy's name. Percy. Yeah, I was right. Percy Rodriguez. Yeah, he was great. Yeah, Percy Rodriguez. He was, obviously the voice actor who became synonymous with trailer voiceovers is the late great Don LaFontaine, who passed away in 2008. Who I had, who I did have the opportunity of speaking with. We exchanged a couple of emails way back in the day, but and he became synonymous with the in a world, right? He did movie trailers, network promos, all kinds of stuff. And they poked fun at him in I think a Geico ad back in 2006 or 7, for which he was in. Hal Douglas was another voiceover in a world guy who you would recognize. He's since passed away as well. And Percy Rodriguez is one of those. He might be. Don LaFontaine is great, but Percy Rodriguez might be one of my favorites. He did the Jaws trailer. He did the trailer for House. Speaking of the 1985 House, he did it for that. He did a lot of those old school 70s, 80s ones, man. He was great. And his line in that trailer, it was as if God had created the devil himself and gave him Jaws. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, awesome stuff. All right. Let me see here. Scroll back. Just want to see if there's anybody I haven't got. Hey, Holly Klein. Nice to see Holly Klein here. Wolfman's Got Nards has got myself some McDonald's chicken nuggets with my Dave Mcrae membership. Yeah, that's how it goes, man. That's how it goes. You can also go to Gucci if you're the ladies out there want a Gucci purse. You just hand in your Dave Mcrae membership and you can get 94% off anything in the store. If you want to buy a Ferrari, you just show your Dave Mcrae membership. And if the Ferrari is $90,000 or $150,000, say it's $150,000, you can get a $150,000 Ferrari for $3.05. So, this membership, man, the perks of this membership, I'm just saying, the perks of this membership are phenomenal. So just want to let you know that. Harsh Language Podcast. Welcome to Crazy Level number 1. Oh, it's Harsh Language Podcast. That was our 6th member during the stream today. Amazing. Thanks, buddy. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Fleximetry says, hey, Dave, any idea when you plan to start having guest contributors from IMDb on your show? I'll need a few weeks to prepare. Okay, good to know. We have an idea. Our main focus at the moment is really getting through post-production, and to the point where we then can hand off chapter 2 to Greg, who's going to be doing the color grading, the color timing, the color, everything. You know what I mean? He's going to be doing all the color for it. So once that's in Greg's hands, then that opens up some room for us to now start tackling the perks. So it's coming soon. It would be this summer. This summer at some point is when we're going to start tackling all the perks. And so we're going to start, I just was actually in contact with some of our producers and our EPs about the Michael Myers mask. So if you're an executive producer or if you're a co-producer, you're going to be getting a Michael Myers mask. And so I was just in touch with them. I've been in touch with Jimmy Falco, who's making the Michael Myers mask, the Halloween Kills flashback mask, which was part of the tier. And because he wanted the measurements. And so that's going to be happening soon. I got to get the measurements to him soon. And then obviously I got to send him the money. And then he's going to tackle that. And so we're slowly but surely starting to get things in order. It's just been a whole process because obviously we're doing all the posts ourselves. And it's been very busy, very good, of course, the good kind of busy. Things are looking good and sounding great. But yeah, this summer, is when things are going to start to, you'll begin to see that start to pick up. So, yeah, what I'm going to do first and how I'm going to organize, I'm not entirely sure, but it's a process. And obviously people have been asking me about the Blu-rays. Obviously I can't ship Blu-rays when there's no movie to ship. There's no movie to be on a Blu-ray. So Blu-rays are likely to ship late this year, early next year. That's the plan anyway. Yeah, it's a lot of work. So we appreciate your patience, of course. And we will keep everybody updated as usual, like we did with chapter 1. We will keep everybody updated on what's happening and where we're at and all that kind of stuff. But right now, the main focus has just been getting that movie done. And yeah. And we will also make an announcement soon too. If you want to get your name in the end credits, then there will be a deadline for that. And that will probably be towards the end of the summer, although I will let everybody know, through a post, through the campaign, through on social media, as well, that if you want your name in the end credits of It's Me Billy Chapter 2, then pick up a perk now. Because although the campaign will remain open for probably the next fiscal year, you won't be able to get your name in the end credits because the movie will be done, right? So you'll be able to pick up perks, maybe some screen use stuff too once the movie's out. But you won't be able to get your name in the credits because that's already been locked. So if you want your name in the end credits, it's best to pick up a perk now. And that could be something as simple as just the name in the end credits perk, right? Or pick up a Blu-ray or a hoodie or a t-shirt or a poster or something. Do that now if you want your name in the end credits, because once the film is locked, you'll still be able to pick up like a Blu-ray or a t-shirt, but you won't be able to, that won't then get your name in the credits is what I'm trying to say, right? So just be mindful of that. Be mindful of that. But yeah, we appreciate your patience. We're just, our main focus right now is getting that film locked. And it's about 75% done in terms of having it locked and being ready to then pass the project file off to our color department. So it's coming along. It's coming along. It's coming along. It's coming along. Davey Deathray, what's going on? Davey says, can't wait to talk Evil Dead with you, Dave. I saw you guys covered the release of the first film in the UK on TSL for 83, and I was relieved to hear that you enjoyed the first film the most. I did, yeah. No, I do like the first film. The second film, it's not just a bad movie, it's good, but it feels just very redundant to me. Very much like I'm just watching, and for all intents and purposes, I kind of am, watching sort of a remake of the first movie. So I've never been a huge fan of the franchise, but I can get enjoyment out of it. It is what it is. All right. Any more Alien Romulus thoughts? Any more Alien Romulus trailer thoughts before we call it a day here? Just wanted to see if there was any more Alien Romulus thoughts. Let me know, folks. Like I said, if you're just joining us or if you're watching after the fact and you made it this far, I love the trailer. I thought it was a great trailer. I thought it was really good. So very happy with it. Very happy with it. I can't wait to see how it all plays out. Can't wait to see how it all plays out. Brooke Scarlett, hey Brooke, what's going on? Says looking forward to it. Thank you, appreciate that. Holly Klein says I forgot to say how adorable the show Luna Chip and Inky is. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I appreciate that. It is. Yeah. Holly's talking about a show that I'm on called Luna, Chip, and Inky. It's a kids animated show. We've done 2 seasons. The first season is currently up on Peacock now. So if you guys want to, if you have little kids and you want to entertain them while maybe you're doing something in the kitchen or something, and you have Peacock, I don't think it's on Prime as well. I think it's just Peacock. But the first season is on Peacock. The second season isn't up there yet. I don't know why that is. I'm not privy to why that is. It could maybe Peacock just obtain the rights to run one season, or maybe they'll run one season for the rest of this year and then pick up the second season next year. I have no idea. We've done 2 seasons. I'm really hoping we get to do a 3rd season because it's a great show with a great cast. And I just absolutely love playing the character of Mr. Crumple, the purple porcupine, Mr. Crumple. So I play Mr. Crumple, among other sort of side characters that tend to pop up in various episodes. But yeah, thanks for saying that. I really appreciate that. It's a really cute show, very family friendly, you know, a lot of singing. There's always a moral, you know, they learn, they grow, things like that. And I'm just so glad to have been a part of it. And be a part of it. And I'm on 3 other shows right now. I'm on Super Wings. I'm on Lana Longbeard. Lana Longbeard is not airing yet. We're recording that now. Probably won't be till late 2024, maybe sometime in 2025. Lana Longbeard, I am really excited for you guys to see. I don't know where it's going to end up yet. I know here in Canada, CBC Gem has it. CBC has it, and that's like, you know, a big network here. Overseas in Europe, I know that Warner Brothers Discovery is the distributor of it, in terms of the UK, in terms of the Europe market. But the American market, I'm not sure yet. Maybe it'll go to Peacock. Maybe it'll go to Max. Maybe. I'm not sure. I'm not sure where it will go. That's out of my hands. I'm just an actor, of course, on these shows, so I'm not entirely sure. But I did inquire to the producer. One of the last times I was in the studio doing it, actually, I did a session for it this morning from home here, and I asked. I said, "Do we know where it's going to go in the the U.S. market?" And they're like, "Oh, we're not sure yet. We're in the process of figuring that out." So. Not sure where that's going to go, but I'm really excited about this show. Like, the animation is just great. The energy of the show is so good. I love it. I love it. And I play Helmut Hugo in that, among other side minor characters as well, right? But the main character that I play that shows up, who's part of the main crew, is Helmut Hugo. And he's awesome. He's awesome. And it's funny. The last time I was in studio doing a bunch of episodes, which was great because I was there with a bunch of the cast, during our break, we actually got a chance to see one of the episodes. It was fully animated. The sound was not quite finished, but it was fully animated, and we got to see basically the first episode. And man, I was so pleased with, like, it's just like the energy of the show, the jokes, the quips, is just great. And so your kids are going to love it. Lana Longbeard, which is essentially about this, little girl and her Viking crew and dad, and they travel the realms of the 7 seas, and they get into all sorts of shenanigans and learn morals and messages and all that kind of stuff. But it's so quick, and it's so quick-witted and fun, and the animation is so great, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. So, and then I just signed a contract to be on season 4 of Deer Squad. So the first 3 seasons of Deer Squad, I think, are up on Amazon Prime now. And so I'm not on there yet, but I have signed to be a part of season 4. So we start recording season 4 soon. Very soon. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So yeah, very busy in the world of animation for myself. So I really appreciate you. Saying that. It's been a lot of fun to be a part of these shows, and hopefully the train just keeps on rolling. So yeah, anytime I get wind that, a show that I've done winds up on one of the streaming services, I will let you guys know, like I did. So you can watch the first 3 seasons. Oh, no. It's Paramount Plus. Excuse me. It's Paramount Plus. The first 3 seasons, and I think it's on Prime as well. So I don't think that was a mistake. But the first 3 seasons of Deer Squad are on Prime and Paramount Plus, I believe. I'm not on there yet. I'm going to be on season 4. Luna Chip and Inky, first season is on Peacock. I am on there now, playing Mr. Crumple. And then Lana Longbeard, not sure yet, because we're still in the middle of recording that. So exciting stuff. Thank you for that, Holly. Appreciate that. I'm glad you really liked it. Steve McCoy says, liked your singing as the porcupine, Dave. Yeah. I don't sing a lot on the show. But our musical director, I forget, he's he's either won an Emmy or he's been nominated. And I think he did all of the musical. I think he was the musical director on the My Little Pony movie, if I'm not mistaken. He's fantastic. And the songs are great. Like they're great. It's such a great show. Like I said, we've done 2 seasons. There's something like 50 or 60 episodes. I haven't heard anything about a third, and I checked with my agent a couple of weeks ago. Have you heard about a 3rd season of Luna Chip and Inky? Not yet. Now the director that was the director on Luna Chip and Inky, the voice director is Dee Shipley, who's brilliant. And she's been nominated for all sorts of shit. And she's also the director of Lana Longbeard as well. So I guess, so the next time I do a Lana session, I should ask her if she's heard anything about Luna Chip and Inky. But yeah, no, it's I'm not a bad. I can carry a tune. I'm all right. All right, we'll take this another 5 minutes, folks. Another 5 minutes, and then we will call it a day. Wade Effin Wilson says, super late to the stream, but thanks for the stream, Dave. This will get me through the night shift tonight. No worries, my man. No problem. Hope it will. Yes, indeed. Let me see here. TSL podcast says, whatever, Dave. I still... Oh, you son of a bitch. I love it. Yeah, well, you know what? I mean, that's not my problem then, Darren. That is not my problem. If you don't get it, forget it. Inside joke, folks. Inside joke. I don't know how much clearer I could be. I don't know. But hey, we'll see. Yeah, I can't wait for you guys to see Lana. It's so good. Like it's so, I don't know what to compare it to because I don't have kids, but it's just like the animation for Luna Chip and Inky is great. It's great. It looks great. But you can tell it's geared towards a certain age group, right? Whereas Lana is a bit of an older age group. So the animation is like, I don't want to say mature, but it's more like, I don't watch enough animation and I should, but it's, you know, I mean, it's still, you know, for kids, obviously, but it's the sharp wit and the energy of Lana Longbeard that I was like, oh, and you can tell that from the scripts as well. Like every time I dive into a script, the energy is so much fun, and there's so many. It's just so great. And this morning I was doing an episode with voice actor Tammy Friedman, who is she plays Greta on the show. And Tammy has got one of the most, I don't know if she's ever going to see this, but the next time I speak to her, Tammy has got to have one of the most infectious laughs I've ever heard in my life. She giggles and she laughs, not in character. I just mean her as a person. And I cannot help but smile every time I hear her laugh. She is just, she's just tremendous and talented as all hell. So we had a bunch of scenes together this morning, and just working with her is so great. But she's like the whole cast is just amazing. The whole cast is amazing. But yeah, I don't get it either. I don't even know what the hell I'm talking. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. I didn't know what the hell, what am I saying? Where am I? What's going on? Am I live? Guys, are we live? What? Oh, anyway. Flixsymmetry says, my youngest is 12 today. We'll have to take a look for sure. Yeah, I don't know. 12? I don't know if he'd be into Luna Chip and Inky. That's more geared towards like, you know, like 3, 4, 5, maybe 6-year-olds. But he may like, well, Lana Longbeard, maybe it's more like 7 to 10. He might be a little old for the shows I'm on at the moment, but if I ever get on something like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something, I'll fucking let you guys know. That would be awesome. Hey, you never know. Because there's so many iterations of that cartoon. All right, let me see here. Have I got all the super chats, ladies and germs? Have I got all the super chats? I just want to make sure. It looks like I have. Let me go over to. The last super chat was, oh, I was right. Okay, the man who sold the world. All I want is a great Halloween video game. Okay, great. Yep, I've got them all. I haven't missed any. Usually when I miss something, you guys in the chat will let me know. So I appreciate you, Yeah, looks like we're all good. All right, folks. Well, listen, that is going to do it for me on this episode of Mcrae Live. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I really, really, really appreciate it. Flick says she still watches SpongeBob, so we're good. Hey, awesome, amazing. Well, you know what? I mean, sometimes cartoons, you can there's some. Yeah, I'll just say that sometimes you can find enjoyment out of any cartoon at any age, right? Am I right? That's totally true. Very cool. Well, show it to her and see what she says. I don't know. Mr. Crumple. I play Mr. Crumple on that show. Yes, thanks for tuning in, everybody. I really appreciate it. Thank you, of course, to the Super Chat questions that came in today, some of the non-ones that came in today, one of that member chat, and thank you to the members. Thank you to Andrew Stevens, one of our great moderators, that gifted 5 memberships, of course. Really appreciate it. And thank you to my moderators, Frank Gregor, Tab of the Short, Darren Sands, Chris Baber, Cody Snyder, Andrew Stevens. Thank you for doing what you guys do. I really, really appreciate it. And listen, if you're watching after the fact, jump into the comment section and let me know your thoughts on the Alien Romulus trailer. What did you think about it? Do you agree with me? One of the best trailers this year so far. That claustrophobic, eerie, vulnerable, dystopian, all hope is lost vibe of that original film. This might be a banger. This might be a winner, folks. I don't know. It's not out till August, but we're going to see. I really liked it. I would love to know your thoughts on the trailer below. Let me know. So have a great rest of your Tuesday, everybody. Thank you for joining me, and I will talk to you all very soon. In the meantime and in between time, I will talk to you soon. Cheers.